Working with vector graphics in Canva. So at some point you're going to get asked to work with vector graphics, maybe to export as a SVG, or maybe someone just gives you an EPS or AI file and says, can you do this for me? So these sports balls are vector packs from, or they're vector graphics icon sets from Adobe Stock. And I opened them up in Vectorpea, and I had to kind of do a workaround. You can see I selected the soccer ball there, and then I could put the soccer ball on a separate graphic, but I couldn't go directly into Canva. But Illustrator worked great, right? So with Illustrator, I could come in here and meatball select, and then just copy and paste it into Canva. So let's do that. You can use any vector graphic. You don't need to make a pictograph, but I kind of like to do this with my infographic, column graph, histogram, pictograph. So, all right. So new document. I got a 9 by 16 or 1080 by 1920 document. So I'm going to go create new design. And then I'm going to go to the bottom to custom size, and then 1080 by 1920 pixel dimensions, and get rid of this escape, maybe. Command minus, maybe my browser needs to be a little, no, just click on something else, there we go. All right, so get rid of the sidebar, and let's rename it, and I can call this 2025 Summer Vector Demo. All right, so Canva's got a lot of great stuff. AI does a lot of great stuff, but there's a lot of nice, cool graphics that, graphic designers, artists have already put out there, whether it's a site like Freepik. You come to Freepik, and then search for like sports balls, or you could do wine or wine glasses, anything really, right? So just find one you like. They're all a little different as far as how they're grouped and organized, but usually when they're kind of in these separate spaces, they don't overlap. It's kind of a good sign because you can select them and copy them and paste them, work with them individually because they're grouped. All right, or go to Freepik. It's great. All you need is a Gmail account. They just try to upsell you on some premium stuff, so watch out. But Adobe Stock is great. So I just typed in sports balls. Actually, you can search, you can change your filter search settings pretty nice too on both these Freepik. So in Adobe Stock, I came into vectors. Vectors just look more cartoony. They're points and paths. And this one looks good. They kind of have some highlights, some shading, but I used this one. So I can click on it, and if you want the file number, a set of sports balls, vector illustration. All right, and if you click on the file number, it displays then in its own window. So find one you like. I like that one. You can download it from download number 1 from my Google Drive, and let's get it on our desktop and get going. So, all right, so I just downloaded it. I hit license and then re-download because I'm logged in. Vector AI EPS SVG, Silicon Valley Graphic SVG. I think it's the oldest, but it's becoming more web friendly or browser friendly with the new modern browsers. EPS, encapsulated PostScript, and .ai. All right, so you just don't want a JPEG. I guess you could use JPEGs and kind of take a screenshot or cut them up, crop them, and work that way too. But what's great about vector graphics is they're scalable, right? And they're also easy to select. So you don't need to use those marching ants from Photoshop or selection tools. All right, so I'm gonna double click and it opens up in Photoshop here. And let's see, I'll go for the tennis ball. You can see it's right there, my layers panel. And we're not really doing much with Illustrator besides just copying and pasting, but right, so these circles are called meatballs. I don't want that little shadow on the bottom, so I'm gonna twirl down the triangle to expand what's in the group, and then meatball on the right to select it, and then just copy and paste it, copy, and back over to Canva and Command V, edit copy, Command C, edit paste, Command V. And let's do that a couple more times. Then we'll try Vectorpea. So, all right, there's a baseball in this group. Twirl down, meatball, Command C, edit copy, Command V, edit paste. And two more times, Illustrator. And let's try the soccer ball. Whoop, I did something, Command Z. Okay, so soccer ball, twirl down, Command C, and Command V. And last time. It's easiest if these, if your icons or if your vector graphics are 1-to-1 aspect ratio, like a square or a circle. Otherwise, they're a little trickier to stack if you try to make a column graph or bar chart like I do. It loses a little bit of its shininess, like that basketball looks a little darker than it did over here. It's a little brighter, but it's still pretty close. Okay, so the other way to work is with Vectorpea. When I'm logged in, let's see, I'm logged in, but I want to go back to the home page. Leave. And it says Vectorpea's in beta. It's been in beta a while, but it's just nice. It lets you, again, it lets you work with AI, SVG, different vector graphic file types you might need to work with. Okay, so I'm going to take this Adobe Stock file and drag and drop it in. And all right, so then let's get it on the P drive. So File, Save as AI. Okay, and then let's call this like my sports balls on my desktop. Okay, and then let's go File, Save as AI, .ai, not artificial intelligence. Oh, I did the wrong one, so I should have done save more AI to storage. P drive, and then I made a folder, right? I control clicked new folder, and let's put the sports balls, save, and give it a sec. Okay, so you could eyeball off and eyeball on these so that you can they don't have names. It's not quite as intuitive as Illustrator, but by eyeballing off and eyeballing on, or maybe by clicking on one, yeah, so it goes down to this group for the soccer ball. Eyeball off, and then you can try copying the group, and it looks like the group has a ton of stuff, but you can use these triangles, and like you don't want this bottom one, which is the shadow of the soccer ball, which you can kind of see, it's kind of small. So I want like just the soccer ball, and if I do go to edit copy, and then come back over here to edit paste, or right click paste, maybe control click paste. See text and images. Okay, sure. Yeah, see, it didn't work. I don't know what it does, but it doesn't work. So I tried that a few times. But what you could do is, if you don't have Illustrator, is you could take that selected group and you could do File, New, and then I think I just did like a 400 by 400 pixel, and then took these. I don't really know. Let's see, new project. Call this soccer or something. Create. All right, and then edit, paste, Command V, and you should have good vector graphic. It should snap into place. All right, and then I could export. I could do File, Export, and export a PNG on my desktop, and then bring that into Canva. So hope you find a vector graphic you like, and I've done this example with emoji. It's kind of fun too, because emoji have transparent backgrounds. So, but you never know what you're gonna have to work with. So now that you got your graphics, you can get your axes and then kind of copy and align. So there looks like 8. Get it to snap into place. 864. All right, so I got my horizontal axis. Then I can ... duplicate it, and then I can rotate this one of them. It's kind of hard when you're zoomed out and they're close together. It's kind of hard to work with them. All right, so get it so it's 90 degrees. Sometimes if you move your mouse farther away, it's easier. All right. You could make them thicker. I think it's a little bit off. All right. Okay, so let's bring a tennis ball in here. There's different ways to work. I might give it a little bit of offset. So I'm going to zoom into, so I don't need this in my sidebar. Let's try zooming in maybe to 50%. All right. And so I think the farther you're zoomed in, so that this bar was 864, it said. So maybe I'll make these 200 pixels wide. So there we go. That's 200. And I can do more of my alignment at the end. So, all right. So there's one. Let's bring the basketball down and get it to 200. Sometimes you have to zoom in more to get it exact. I'm just going to keep going, but 202 is close enough for the demo, but you might need to zoom in again if you want to get it exact. And then I'm going to option drag to copy it and have it snap. So option is usually the keyboard shortcut for duplicating or making a copy. It's kind of nice too, because you don't need to do Command C, Command V. All right, get it to 200. Doesn't want to. Sometimes, again, if you move your mouse out farther, maybe you can get it better, more precise. I'm fine with that. All right, option drag it. And option drag it a second time. And grab the soccer ball. And 202. And then the option drag trick. All right, so now I can go back out to fit. Scroll down a bit, and I can get the soccer balls and group them. I can get the baseballs and group them. I can get the basketballs and group them. And then I should be able to distribute them. Right? I did this. Let's see, more, align elements. No, I want to distribute them. Maybe if I group them all, and then, I did this. If I want to, let's go back in. 25. I'm just trying to get a little better spacing. All right, so that's got a little bit of spacing. And so now if I grab them and I do the dot, 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 there we go. Okay, so don't group them, just they were spaced evenly previously. So now that they're not spaced evenly, I can space them evenly. Looks like tidy up. I haven't, oh, Command Z. All right, so dot, 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 space evenly horizontally. And we're pretty good. So they're little, you can have them touching. You might want to, like, I don't know, give it a little right arrow, left, right a few times, and then a little up arrow. So they're not exactly on the axes. You could expand this a couple pixels. All right, so that's most of it. Then I went and added some type from Canva, like I think I searched for sport, and I got this hustle one. All right, and so let's get it kind of centered, and then double click and do favorite, enter, return, sport, question mark, and I expanded it to fit the graphic, and then select it all and reduce the size a bit so it was all on one line. Spacing doesn't really work. I could have done this a little differently, but I guess it's kind of nice to know that you can edit the spacing here with a slider. All right. And the color is no good, so let's make it match the like soccer ball here. And then let's just zoom out and kind of maybe move all this stuff on the bottom up a little, and maybe move this one down a little. All right, so it's a little bit, maybe I should make that font size, double click, triple click, Command A, select all, and then just make it a little smaller so it's not quite so far on the edge there. All right, have fun with your Canva pictograph, share it out. You don't even need to make a pictograph, but I think it's kind of a fun example to work with vector graphics and emoji. All right, so some artists took the time to do all that highlighting and shadowing and make these graphics, and in just a little bit of time you can use them to make a cool looking bar chart. So all right, so hit reply, upload, drag it in, and credit. All right, have fun with the vector graphics. All right, I forgot to go back to the Freepik filter, right? But once you go to sports balls, you can filter by file type, and then you can go for AI or EPS. And SVG. Sometimes you can come in, you can search just vectors, but sometimes they go in multi. There's AI files and illustrations and vectors probably. So just check out when you do your search, try to find a filter that selects the correct file type.